Cynthia froze. Her mop slipped from her hand as the office door slowly creaked open behind her. She wasn't supposed to be there this early. But the man standing at the door was her boss, and the most powerful billionaire in the city, Daniel Blake, and the way he was staring at her, it wasn't normal.
If you're still watching, that means you're enjoying this story. Go ahead, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it. More powerful stories are coming.
Cynthia had always been invisible. Every night, after everyone left the towering glass building, she would quietly push her cleaning cart from one office to another. No one knew her story. No one cared. To them, she was just the cleaner. But to Cynthia, this job was survival. Her mother was sick, bills were piling up, and this job was the only thing keeping her afloat. So every night, she cleaned with care. Especially one office. Daniel Blake's office. Daniel Blake, CEO, billionaire. Cold, untouchable. He didn't smile. He didn't care. And he definitely didn't notice people like Cynthia. At least, that's what she thought. Cynthia had mastered the art of being invisible. Not because she wanted to, but because life had forced her to. The faint sound of coughing filled the small, dimly lit room. Cynthia's eyes opened slowly. She didn't need an alarm. Responsibility always woke her up. She turned her head. Her mother lay on the bed beside her, weak, struggling to breathe. "Mama," Cynthia whispered softly, sitting up quickly. She placed her hand gently on her mother's forehead. It was hot, too hot. "You're burning again," Cynthia said with worry. Her mother forced a weak smile. "I'm fine, just go to work. Don't be late." Cynthia shook her head immediately. "No, you're not fine," Cynthia interjected. She stood up, pacing slightly. "We need to get you to the hospital again," Cynthia said, thinking of what next to do. Her mother grabbed her wrist weakly. "And with what money?" her mother asked. That question always ended the conversation. The room was tiny, paint peeling off the walls. A single fan turning slowly. A small table filled with unpaid bills. And a plastic bag of drugs that were almost finished. Cynthia stared at them. Her chest tightened. "I'll get more today," Cynthia said quietly. Her mother shook her head. "You've said that 3 times this week." Cynthia forced a smile. "This time, I mean it." But deep down, she wasn't sure how. Cynthia walked to the corner of the room. Picked up her worn-out uniform. Neatly folded. Clean. Even though it was old. She treated it with care. Because it was all she had. While others dressed for offices, meetings, and big dreams, Cynthia dressed for survival. She stood in front of a cracked mirror, staring at herself. Plain, simple, tired eyes. No makeup, no luxury. Just her. She adjusted her hair slightly. Then whispered to herself, "You can do this." She walked back to her mother. Placed a gentle kiss on her forehead. "I'll be back early today," Cynthia said. Her mother smiled faintly. "You always say that." Cynthia paused at the door. Then quietly replied, "One day, it will be true." Outside, the world was already moving fast. Cars, people, noise, everyone chasing something. Cynthia walked through it all quietly, holding her bag tightly, as if letting go would mean losing everything. She boarded a crowded bus. People pushing, shouting, no one noticing her. She stood in a corner, silent, Invisible again. No one there knew that she was carrying more than just a bag. She was carrying her mother's life, her family's survival, and the weight of a future that refused to come easy. The massive glass building stood tall before her, shining, untouchable, a world completely different from hers. Cynthia looked up at it. For a moment, just a moment, she allowed herself to imagine, what if my life was different? But then, reality returned. She lowered her head and walked in, because dreams were a luxury she couldn't afford. But survival, that was mandatory. One night, Cynthia stayed later than usual. She was cleaning Daniel's office, carefully wiping his desk, arranging his files. When suddenly, the door opened. Her heart skipped. Daniel stood there, loosened tie, tired eyes. He looked different, human. Their eyes met. Cynthia quickly bowed her head. "I'm sorry, sir, I'll leave immediately." But Daniel didn't respond. He just stood there, watching her. For a few seconds too long. Then finally he said, "Finish what you're doing." His voice was calm, but something had changed. After that night, Daniel started noticing her. At first, it was small. The way his office was always perfectly arranged. The faint scent of lavender she left behind. The tiny details no one else cared about. Then one night, he stayed late on purpose. Just to see her again. The office was silent, too silent. The city lights reflected through the glass walls, casting soft shadows across the room. Cynthia pushed her cleaning cart inside slowly. She hesitated at the door. Almost like she felt it. That invisible tension. Then, she stepped in. Daniel was already inside, sitting behind his desk, jacket off, sleeves rolled up, tie loosened. He looked tired, but his eyes, they were alert, watching her. Cynthia froze slightly. I didn't know you were still here, sir." She started holding the mop tightly. Daniel didn't respond immediately. He just kept looking at her, studying her. Then finally he said, "I could say the same." His voice was calm, low, controlled. Cynthia quickly lowered her gaze. "I'll come back later." She turned to leave but he stopped her. "Stay." His voice stopped her instantly. She froze, slowly turned back. "Sir." For a few seconds, neither of them spoke, just the faint hum of the air conditioner, and the sound of two people suddenly aware of each other. "Finish what you came to do," Daniel said. Cynthia nodded quickly. "Yes, sir." She moved carefully now, more aware, more nervous. She wiped the table slowly, arranged the files, adjusted a pen slightly. Her movements were precise, almost too perfect. Daniel noticed every detail. "You do that every night?" Daniel suddenly asked. Cynthia paused. "Do what, sir?" she asked ignorantly. "That," he said. He gestured lightly. "The way you arrange things." Then he added. She looked down at the desk. "Oh, I just like things to be neat." Cynthia answered and continued her cleaning, almost blushing from the compliment. Simple answer. But something about it felt deeper. Daniel leaned back in his chair. "Most people don't care that much," Daniel said. Cynthia gave a small, shy smile. "I guess I'm not most people," Cynthia answered, still cleaning. The moment she said it, she froze, realizing she might have spoken too freely. "I'm sorry, sir," She immediately apologized. But Daniel didn't interrupt. Instead, he smirked, just slightly. That was the first time. The first crack in his cold exterior. "What's your name?" Daniel asked. Cynthia hesitated, like she wasn't used to being asked. "Cynthia," she answered. "Cynthia." He repeated it, slowly, carefully, the way he said her name. It didn't sound like a boss talking to a cleaner. It sounded intentional. Cynthia reached for a file, but it slipped slightly from her hand. Daniel stood up immediately, walked toward her. Before she could bend, he picked it up. Their hands brushed slightly. Both of them paused. Time slowed, just for a second. Cynthia pulled her hand back quickly. "I'm sorry, sir," she said, clearing her throat. Daniel didn't move immediately. Then quietly, "You apologize too much," Daniel said, looking deep into her eyes. "I just don't want to make mistakes." Cynthia said, bowing her head. "Everyone makes mistakes," Daniel said. He paused, then added, "Some just hide 'em better." He added. Cynthia looked up. For the first time, she held his gaze. And what she saw wasn't the cold billionaire everyone feared. It was something else, something human. And that moment was dangerous, because it made her forget who he was, and who she was. Cynthia quickly looked away, finished cleaning in silence, then pushed her cart toward the door. "Good night, sir," Cynthia said. She was about to leave. "Cynthia," Daniel called. She stopped, turned slightly. "Yes, sir," Cynthia answered, fidgeting with the mop stick in her hand. Daniel held her gaze for a second, then simply said, "Good night." It was a small moment. Simple, almost meaningless. But sometimes, the biggest stories don't begin with grand gestures. They begin with quiet attention. A name remembered, a glance held too long, and a connection neither of them was ready for. But Cynthia had to pass through someone before getting to Daniel. Bella, Daniel's secretary. Elegant, beautiful, sharp, and dangerously possessive. She wasn't just his secretary. She was his girlfriend. Or at least, that's what she told everyone. But the truth was that Daniel never loved her. Bella loved power. And Daniel was power. So when she noticed something strange, she paid attention. Daniel was staying late, too often, and one night, she followed him. Bella stood outside Daniel's office, listening. Then she peeked through the glass. And what she saw made her blood boil. Cynthia, laughing softly. Daniel, smiling. Bella had never seen that before. Not with her. From that moment, Bella made a decision. Cynthia had to go. The next morning, everything felt normal. Too normal. And that should have been the warning. Cynthia walked into the building quietly, just like every other day. Head slightly lowered, bag clutched close, invisible. But today, something felt off. People were looking at her, whispering. She frowned slightly. "What's going on?" Cynthia thought to herself. As she passed the front desk, two staff members leaned toward each other. "That's her. Are you serious?" Cynthia slowed down. Her heartbeat quickened, but she kept walking, trying to ignore it. She had done nothing wrong. So there was nothing to fear. "Right, Cynthia," a sharp voice called from behind. She turned. It was one of the senior staff. "Management wants to see you." Her stomach dropped instantly. Me? Cynthia asked, her heart beating twice as before. Yes. Now, that short walk felt longer than anything she had ever experienced. Every step heavier than the last. Eyes followed her, judging, watching, waiting. The door opened. Cynthia stepped in slowly. And froze. Bella was there, standing confidently, arms crossed, a faint smile on her lips. That smile, it didn't feel right. Good, you're here, Bella said smoothly. Cynthia looked confused. Ma, what's going on? Cynthia asked in total confusion. Bella tilted her head slightly. Why don't you tell us? Bella asked. The room became silent. Cynthia blinked. I don't understand, Cynthia responded. One of the managers stepped forward. A very expensive watch went missing yesterday. Cynthia's brows furrowed. Okay, Cynthia said, waiting for him to finish talking. And this morning. He paused, then placed something on the table. A watch. Shiny. Expensive. Cynthia stared at it, confused, until the bomb exploded right in her face. That was found in your cleaning cart, the management said. The world stopped. Cynthia's ears rang. What? Cynthia stuttered. Her voice came out shaky. That's not possible, she added. Bella stepped forward slowly. Oh, but it is, Bella said with a look of satisfaction on her face. You were the last person in the office last night, Bella continued. Cynthia shook her head immediately. No, I didn't take anything, Cynthia said. Her voice cracked. I would never do that. Tears had already started forming in her eyes. The manager sighed. Cynthia, this isn't looking good, he said. Her breathing became uneven. Tears fully formed in her eyes. I swear, I didn't touch it, Cynthia said as tears started dropping from her eyes. She looked around desperately. Please, you have to believe me, she begged. Bella folded her arms. Disappointed expression. I trusted you, Bella said. That line hit harder than anything. Cynthia looked at her, hurt. Ma, I didn't do this, Cynthia sobbed. Her eyes were already red at this point. But Bella had already decided the outcome. People like you, Bella continued softly, always think no one is watching. Cynthia's eyes widened. No, please, Cynthia begged, still crying. You're fired, Bella said instantly, without thinking twice. No. Cynthia stepped forward desperately. Please, I need this job. My mother is sick. I can't, Cynthia begged them as she fell to her knees. Her voice broke completely. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I didn't steal anything, she continued begging. But no one spoke. No one moved. Because in rooms like that, truth didn't matter. Power did. Suddenly, the door opened. Footsteps. Heavy. Commanding. It was Daniel. The room went silent instantly. Bella straightened. Daniel, this is just a small issue I was handling. What's going on? Daniel cut her off immediately. His voice was calm, but dangerous. Cynthia turned toward him, eyes red, face filled with tears, hope and fear mixing together. This cleaner stole from the company, Bella said like she was fully certain. She gestured towards Cynthia. The evidence is clear, she added. Daniel didn't respond immediately. His eyes moved slowly, from Bella, to the watch, to Cynthia, standing there, shaking, broken, and something didn't sit right with him. Not at all, Cynthia whispered. Sir, I didn't do it. Her voice was shaking as new tears formed in her eyes. Her voice was barely audible, but he heard it. Daniel stepped forward slightly. His gaze darkened. Then he said, "Everyone out." Everyone started leaving. Bella stayed. Then Daniel turned to her. "Including you," he said, his voice sharp, cold, filled with intense power. One you couldn't question. Bella scoffed, then left the office, leaving Cynthia, who was still on her knees, alone with Daniel. Alone with her, Daniel asked softly, "Did you do it?" Cynthia shook her head immediately. "No, sir." This time her voice was calm. He stared at her for a long moment. Then he said, "I believe you." That moment changed everything. "Go on with your work. I will get to the root of this," Daniel said, going to stand close to the large glass window. "Thank you very much, sir, for trusting me. I really appreciate," Cynthia said before leaving. Daniel was smart and he read people's minds. The moment Cynthia said she didn't steal it, he knew she wasn't lying. Especially with Bella's constant decision of firing her. Daniel secretly checked the security footage. And what he found shocked him. Bella planting the watch. Daniel didn't confront Bella immediately. Instead, he started watching her, and the more he did, the more he realized Bella had been manipulating things for a long time, even his business decisions. Meanwhile, Cynthia and Daniel grew closer. Late-night conversations, shared laughs, quiet moments. For the first time in years, Daniel felt peace. And Cynthia, she was falling in love. But she knew her place. Or at least, she thought she did. Bella wasn't done. If she couldn't destroy Cynthia's job, she would destroy her heart. Bella hired someone, a man pretending to be Cynthia's boyfriend. One evening, Daniel saw them together, laughing, holding hands. His heart sank. He walked away silently. The next day, Daniel became cold again, distant. Cynthia was confused, hurt. "What did I do wrong?" she asked him with worry. But he wouldn't answer. Cynthia cried that night, alone, thinking she had lost the only person who ever saw her. But fate had other plans. One of Bella's hired men got greedy. He demanded more money, threatening to expose everything. This wasn't part of the agreement. "It was a one-time job and I paid you to act as her boyfriend," Bella said in her office while speaking to the man on phone. But one thing she didn't know was that Daniel overheard. And finally, the truth exploded. Daniel confronted Bella, his eyes cold. "You set her up." His voice was like thunder. Bella smirked. "She's nothing. I'm the one you should be with," Bella said confidently. Daniel stepped closer. "No." His voice was sharp. "You were never anything." Daniel spat angrily. Then, security walked in. Bella's world collapsed. Daniel rushed to find Cynthia. But she was gone. She had quit, left without a word, thinking she was never enough. Days passed, then weeks, until one rainy evening, Daniel saw her, standing at a small roadside stall. Still working, still fighting. He stepped out of his car, walked toward her. "Cynthia," he said softly. She froze, slowly turned. Tears filled her eyes. "I thought I lost you," he said. "You never had me," she whispered. He stepped closer. "Then let me earn you," he said, his eyes filled with regret and pain. And this time, Cynthia didn't look away, because this time, she wasn't invisible anymore. Sometimes, the world overlooks the quiet ones. But it only takes one person to finally see them.